Hi, everybody. Good evening or good afternoon, depending on where you are joining us from. While I'm bringing my special guest from the panel on, I'm going to invite you all to join the conversation, but also to share. You've seen the subject, you've seen what we're going to be talking about. We are in a series about marriage and relationship. And today we're going to be talking about, is marriage a must for all of us? So all my single ladies and single men out there, I'm inviting you all not only to be part of the conversation in the comments, but also to share and to invite your friends in. But before I introduce my guest, let me introduce myself. Hi, everybody. My name is Carlita, and I'm the founder of Equal Culture, but also His Chosen Ship, where we try to have conversations that actually challenge you, your perspective, and invite you to think differently, so to act differently. Today, I'm going to have my partner in crime, Nadi, with me up here. Hi, Nadi. You on mute?
Hey, everybody. Hey. I like to call myself the partner in purpose. We're moving beyond crime days.
We missed you so much. It's been a long time.
I think she's on mute too, girl. I've been there.
I'm muted. I said I missed you guys too.
Awesome.
It's so nice to be back. Yeah.
So good to see you.
Good to see
We're
you.
not going to do it just all ladies. We could do this like all ladies only conversation, but let's invite our in. Let's invite Wilfred joining us from London. Let's invite
Wilfred. What up,
What's up?
What's going on? And Bentley says hi, everybody. You already know.
Oh, yeah, Bentley.
He likes to be in the center of what's going on all the time. Yep. Good to see everybody. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Finally.
You already know.
I don't know about you guys, but this has been a week. I'm currently in Senegal. I don't know if you guys know about what's going on in Senegal, but it's been like ridiculous. So let's keep Senegal in prayer, okay, guys?
Yeah, they got some stuff going on.
Like, while we're waiting for people to join, because I don't see enough people here to start the conversation. Hi, Awa, we see you in the comments.
Hey, Awa.
A little bit more about
your Junior. Week. I think that's Junior too. Hey, Junior, what's going on?
So how was your week, everybody?
Busy, but good. As always.
Yeah. Busy. Hectic, but I'm happy it's the weekend. Relaxing, eating, and hopefully sleeping.
Rest, let me tell you.
That sounds good.
The rest is so important
today. When Wilfred is quiet, I'm not sure at all.
The week was busy. The week, everything was, we are still locked down here.
I need you to say, relax.
Oh yeah, the lockdown in London.
Yeah, but it's still tough.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hopefully we're gonna get out soon.
We are hearing you away though. We're afraid. I don't know, like moving forward. Do something about the sound. I'm not sure what's going on.
Sound like you're in a tunnel.
So Awa can join us live today, but she's definitely comments. So Awa, hi. We hope that you're gonna be part of the committee that's gonna push us to motivate the conversation.
The comedy.
The committee.
Right.
Okay. So without further ado, while we are waiting for our other friends to join, what do you guys think about today's subject?
First of all, let's just start with, can the married folks put their hands up? So we know who the married folks are and who. Let me put my hand down. First of all, let me put my hand way down.
You better put your head down.
I'm sitting on my hands, sitting on them. Okay. Hey, Ade. Good to see you. All right. So in the single folks, what up, though? It's us.
The man on my I can see the men are married here and the ladies are single.
Really? Interesting conversation.
Yeah. Now
He said,
now we're gonna talk seriously now. Now we're gonna talk about what happened to you, what's going on to you.
Listen, I asked the same question.
What happened to you? Because you must be. Everyone
The struggle is
Well,
real. You know.
Well. That's a question for the win.
No,
At least I
He said, what happened to you? So good. That's so good. All right. So now that we have an inventory.
Yeah.
I'm like, we know. I mean, it's a little imbalanced, but it's quite all right. Maybe we can mix it up some. But yeah, so the topic of the day. The topic of the day. Is it for everybody?
What do you have to say about it, Nani? Come on.
I think, well, first of all, I think a lot of the stuff about is it for you? First, you have to understand what it is, you know? I think a lot of people, my personal opinion is that a lot of people want to jump into something and then they're not really educated on what it is, what it's about, what it requires. But then like the label of what it is like, yeah, I want that. So in order for you to say, is it for you? You need to truly understand what it requires. So I think I've done my research and still am on the research game about it. I used to be one of those people that like, do not say the M word around me. Thank you. I'm all set. I used to be one of those people. Like, I'm good. No, thanks. You know, and as time, of course, that's, you know, I was in my 20s. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm all set. No, I'm okay. But I think as you grow and you come to understand what it is, what it represents, the different components of it, I think that it is a part of, it is something that I would say, I agree with it. I don't have an issue with it. I can see where other people may have a difference of opinion about it. Is it for everybody?
Can you just say what it is?
Say what?
You keep saying it. You keep saying it.
I mean, I don't want to keep repeating marriage. I mean, we don't have to keep saying it, marriage as the component. I think that marriage is not for everybody. If it's not your thing, it's not your thing. I don't want to say that it's something that everybody should do. I mean, I can only speak personally, and I think Bentley agrees. But I think that, Bentley's like, we going for the win, Mom. Come on. But I agree with marriage. I understand like the concept of the covenant and understanding what it truly means and the aspect of the companionship that comes along with it and how you evolve with a particular person and grow. I think I appreciate that about marriage. Did it take me some years to get to that point? Of course. So I think it's, you know, it's objective. That's what I think. I think it's an objective area. That's my 2 cents. Actually, that was more like my 10 cents.
You said objective or subjective?
Did I say subjective? My bad.
Oh.
Yeah, subjective. It's definitely subjective. It depends on the person.
All right. We got you.
What do you think?
We got you.
No, I agree with you. I think it's not for everybody. Like I think, you know, each person is called to do different things.
Mm-hmm.
Some people are called to be nuns or be priests, pastors, or just, you know, either do a particular thing, and maybe they don't fit well into that marriage, in a sense, aspect. Just because, like you said, it kind of englobes a lot of different things.
Right.
You need to be able to compromise. You need to be able to live with somebody. You need to be able to support somebody emotionally, physically, mentally.
Girl.
A lot out of you. So it's like, if you don't have that, in a sense, to be able to either be vulnerable or put yourself in that capacity and, you know, be available to another person in that capacity, it might be a little hard. And I think you're absolutely right in that people nowadays kind of jump into marriage without kind of thinking about, you know, what it truly means, and that it's not just, you know, getting married to get married, but it's about it's about everything. I mean, it's about hurt, joy, crying,
yes,
whatever things. I mean, if you want to make it last, right? And it has to do with a lot of compromising. It has to do with a lot of like accepting somebody else, and also kind of looking at yourself into the mirror and kind of figuring out what you need to change as well, because nobody's.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
That's a great point. I think our last discussion we had was, you know, a little bit about that mirror talk.
Mm-hmm.
But no, that's a great point. I mean, I agree with you. And we've heard now from the unmarried people. Let's get some flavor from the married folks. What do you guys think?
Go Will.
I mean, for me, I would say getting married is for everybody. We have to follow. We have to follow. I think we have to follow our culture. We have to follow our spirit. We have to follow the way the parent give it to us. We have to follow the things as people as Christian, as people as a faith for God or whatever it is on the mind of the people. We have to follow the way, like when we're dating someone, when you go in a relationship, you have to go through the hand, because that means the hand to be in conformity with your relationship. You have to get married, because it's the things we have to do. It's respectfully. You respect your partner, and your partner respect you, and vice versa. You have to be together. You have to respect the family of your wife or your husband, or make sure they agree with your relationship, because you're dating someone, you're in a relationship with someone, and you live it like that without respect or your parent is something. In our African culture, I would say getting married is the thing that most all people should do. That's it.
So you're really bringing in the African culture aspect in it. You know, that's an interesting point, because culturally, I can see where that's a definite. Where in other cultures it might be like, go ahead, Dandies.
Yeah.
Isn't that why we feel so pressured?
So say again.
So when we're talking about the African culture, I'm back, guys. Sorry, my internet was kind of over here. But like when we talk about the culture, that's the aspect of it that I'm with. You see what I mean? Because if you have to go with culture and it goes by, you have to be married, especially for women before a certain age, then that is extremely pressuring. Because what it does is that if you are not married before then you feel like you've missed something. And I think it pushed a lot of people into marriages and into commitments that they might not want, but they have to fit culture. So they go right into it.
Agree. I agree with
so
you.
So Adisa, I see you doing this. I see you doing this.
Yeah, I agree with you about that. Yeah, but the thing is, sometimes now in our African culture, we don't follow this. We don't follow this way anymore, because the thing is, it doesn't matter what your age is. You have to get married sometime in your life. I mean, even if you are 25 or 30 or 35 or 50 years old, you have to get married, especially for the ladies in our African culture. I would say I got my sister or my family. The question is sometimes, because I a lot of my sister cousins or something, most of them are not married, and they're questioning themselves: should I get married? Or they're dating some of the people, they're getting in a relationship, but they're not married yet. The thing is, I agree with you. We have a pressure on the family. The family gives a pressure, but the thing is, in your faith, in your hope, and when you have a faith on God or something, you have to follow the law. You have to respect. I would say, for me, getting married is like respect your family or respect your partner family, and you put someone in position in respect, in loyalty. I would say it's something like that. It's not like we know it's a culture, but it's something like respect. You respect you respect your wife or your husband family, and you getting married just to get the relationship on the serious side. I would say on the right side, because you follow the law. That's things. What you think, Dan?
I was gonna say, what's your opinion on this?
Yeah, we are the only one get married here because the ladies are not married. And now we're gonna talk. We're gonna just. I know we're gonna fight tonight, but it's something we have to talk.
We gotta have a discussion. So I'm coming at this now. I'll clarify. So I'm coming at this as a married male from America, and I think that's important to talk about because bringing the cultural thing in. I say I'm coming as a male because I think the whole concept of marriage, there's a lot less pressure on men than women.
Yeah.
Period. And especially when it comes to marriage, I mean, people think about independence and women get, especially now we're in Women's History Month. So I'm really kind of reflecting on this stuff, and I'm thinking, a lot of times there are so many things, at least in American society, kind of it's kind of general and throughout the world, but the way I've seen it in American society is they look at a woman kind of funny for being independent. Like, why are you rejecting, something? For a man, it's like, okay, well, he'll do it when he's ready. He'll make the decision. We'll allow him to do that. But the interesting kind of what do I say there? The cognitive dissonance of that for me is in America, we are highly independent. We push independence so much. That's what the whole country is founded on. People are independent, and yet for some reason that particular
it's problematic
of women. It's like hey, throw your independence away. You need to be connected. You need to do this thing. What I will say, so that's already a weird dynamic. We can get into that. But I would say to the initial question, is marriage essential? Is it important? What I will say, I'll say it this way. I'll say marriage is for everyone if you want it. And the reason I say it that way is because it's not closed off to anybody, but it's people's decision to decide if that's how they want to live their life, So like to say, when somebody says it's not for somebody, it's like, oh, you unmarriable, girl. Nah, boy, you unmarriable. No, it's not that. It's that you can decide if you want to do it or not. So I think it's there for everybody. Like the option is there. Everybody can go into the store. You can pick it up, put it in your cart if you want to. If you want to go ahead and go to the next aisle, you can do that too. So I guess my initial thoughts are that. I'm waiting for us to get into the benefits and the pros and cons of it.
Yeah. But I like the way I think Junior said it. He said everybody can be married, but not everybody should be married. So
I agree with that. Yeah.
Close to what you're saying on this. Yeah. Talking about is there if you want it? Because it is work. Okay. It's not just a matter of like, hey, cute little couple doing this weekend. No, it's work. And you have to work on you. You have to work on, your standards. You have to work on your values and everything else. So it is important to know that marriage is a commitment that requires that you work to keep it. You see what I mean? So I do agree to that. Absolutely.
It's a decision. And I would add one more thing to say. I agree with Junior. As I say, you can be married, or if you need to, and you should. But not everyone should be married. I also agree with that. But the thing is, it's depend of the people. It's depend of what do you want to be. What is the way you want to get your relationship on this, or at which level you want to put your relationship. When you get in relationships for so long, sometimes you question yourself as a people, as a person. You question yourself. Where I'm going to this relationship, I'm going to the serious relationship, or we're going to stay just like this. I know it's like a people image, but something is you have to question yourself sometimes when you go through in a relationship, what kind of position you're going to put your relationship. You're going to put in or into the marriage level, or you're going to just stay in relationship like a partner. That's a question. You have to question everybody.
Yeah. It Will makes a good point when he says that it's a decision. You know what I mean? It's something that you don't just fall willy-nilly into it. And I think that's like society gives you this. We talked about this last time about how, you know, the Lifetime Network will make you think that everybody's in love all the time and it's great. You know what I mean? It's the same concept with marriage. You know, it's not this like, oh, we just happened to meet each other at a coffee shop and we had great conversation. And the next thing you know, no, it's a decision. I mean, that may happen for some people, not knocking it, but it's a decision where you have to be conscious about, what do I want in this partnership? What are we going, like, what do we want together? Are we suited? And then Carlina made a great point. It's really about, you got to kind of get yourself together. You know what I mean? Because you need to be your whole self walking into a situation. I was listening to someone talk today about two halves trying to make a whole mess. And I was like, that is the best thing I've heard all week. So it's just that you really need to know who you are, so that way you can be prepared to make this decision and understand, like, is this right for me? Because exactly, it's, you know, you can get married, but should you get married? That is the main thing. I think that's great. I think that's great.
It's a question people are to questioning. Everybody has to question themselves just to say, should we get married or can be married? But the thing is, in a marriage, when you go into marriage, there is some steps you have to live in your life. The meaning, when you get in a relationship, you think about, in the future, you are thinking about other kids or buy a house or do something together. But
right.
Sometimes you have to questioning that. You have to say, if I do this thing that way, for my opinion, I would say, if I want to have a kid with someone, I need to get married first, because this is my faith. I hopefully, because respectful for their family, just to say, I marry this woman, and then we can have kids, because I'm Christian. I'm praying every day. God, I'm asking God to make my life better, and I need to follow the law on the Bible. That's it.
Very true. Very true. And I think faith plays a huge role in it. You know, not only does culture, we talked about culture as far as just, you know, being whether you're in Africa or United States, as far as it's like how it's viewed, your faith plays a huge role in it, as far as whether you're Christian or Muslim or whatever it is that you may believe. Yeah. Because some folks, you know, there's more than just two people in their marriage. You're like, wait a minute, you know?
And also in the marriage, there is different steps in marriage, because in African culture, we got many forms of marriage, because we can get married like civil marriage, like religious marriage, if you are praying or if you are faith or something. And also you have the, I would say, the traditional marriage, because you have to put something in the parent of your future woman or something. This is something, but because there is different phase of marriage, there is different kind of marriage. There is a civil marriage. You go on a borough or somewhere, and you go sign a paper. This is a sign a paper, or prenup or no prenup or something like that. This is something like civil marriage. And religious marriage, if you both cry, if you both have a faith, or if you both have Christian or Muslim or something else, you have to go through this way. And also in African culture, you have to respect the parent of your future wife or future husband, just to be agree with their family, just to make sure they agree with your relationship, and you have I would say in this kind of approval. You have approval of your wife family, or you have your approval of your future husband family.
So there's a whole approval process that needs to go down.
They give you the agree.
You're like, wait a minute, wait, hold on.
Just to
begin a mortgage.
Your relationship.
Wow.
Wilfred, you are very like still in like, you know, despite this like, you know, this look of very modern African men, you are very traditional. Because I'm like, do we need for everybody to agree? Yeah, I mean, ideally,
the great cousin of the grandma, it has to give their okay.
They have to be I would say they have to be happy for you. For example, I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to ask you a question. The ladies, you are not married, right? I'll ask you a question. if you get in a relationship for now,
just keep bringing it up. Yep.
yeah. If you go in a relationship for a long time, for long time relationship, are you be happy if your dad or your mom are not happy with your relationship, or you gonna wait until she's gonna be happy, or he's gonna be happy, or your dad gonna be happy with your relationship if it's going a long time?
I mean, obviously, you never want your parents to not be happy for you, or not to accompany you like in your marriage.
But you have,
I feel a butt coming on.
Yeah, but you happy? No. But the thing is, you're happy when your dad or your mom are happy for you, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But what's the next? What's next? The next will be what? I've been in a relationship for 5 years, 10 years. What's next? Are you gonna? You have a plan, right? You have a plan. Kids, house, together or something.
Hold on.
First of all,
where we are at right now.
I'm happy to hear what you're gonna say there. I'm happy. I can't wait to see what you're gonna say.
5 years, 10 years. Wait a minute.
You took the words out of my mouth, because I was gonna be like, wait a minute, that don't got nothing to do with the parents. First of all, let's talk about this.
Wait a second though. Some parents don't even like. You could be in a relationship. You know, some parents sometimes are never satisfied. You have those type of parents. You can be the best girl, boy, whatever, and you're like, you know what? I want to make this girl respectable. I want to marry her. They're gonna find this one thing. Maybe it's going to be, oh, she's from a different tribe. Oh, she's from a different tribe. Oh no, we can't accept that. Sometimes parents.
It happens sometimes. I agree with that.
Family, they could be dramatic. You know, sometimes it's just in the semantics, right? Because obviously, from culture-wise, certain people are supposed to marry certain people. Like it's all about. So at the same time, like, though I understand that and no kid want to dishonor their parent, right? You definitely want your parent to accompany you in everything that you do, because that makes it so much better. At the same time as well, I think that a line sometimes has to be drawn where you need to be able to express that to your parents, and whether they agree or disagree, hopefully the parents will accompany you regardless and try to be there with you, because it could be draining. Because you could be in a 5-year relationship and want to get married, and then it could just come to a stall because your parent doesn't want you to get married to that one person, or is not going to attend your wedding, or is not going to do that. So at that point, what do you do?
Okay, I would say one more thing about it. The thing is, when you think the marriage is just a paper sign, you have kind of that opinion. When you think the marriage is more than that, it's something else, right?
Absolutely, and I agree with that. And obviously, marriages. I mean, in African culture, you're marrying two families. That's what we know.
Listen.
It's a marriage of two families. It's not just going to the courthouse and getting honey. It's like everybody has to be. Everybody has to come together. Everybody has to celebrate. Everybody has to eat.
Totally agree about it.
It's like it's a family affair.
Yeah.
Sometimes certain family members are just gonna be.
Sometimes it can be toxic. Yes. Sometimes it can be toxic.
It could be tough, right?
Toxic.
When you're dating someone, you're dating the whole family.
Right.
That's things. But
So the Nigerian movies didn't lie. So that's basically what it is. The movies are not lying. That's basically, it's not fabricated.
Sometimes they're lying. Sometimes they're
exaggerating. Okay, the exaggeration. Okay, but there is truth mixed in there. Okay.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, there is part of truth of it, but sometimes it's just a movie. You have to think about it.
Absolutely. And in that,
believe me, you. Carly and I had a whole discussion about how American relationships are characterized.
It's totally different. And sometimes I wish, like, in terms of like, the African culture, just look certain things, right? We could accompany more our children into doing something good versus blocking them off or trying to make like a big deal out of something that could be repaired if both parties were by the kid's side. It's like you don't want to make your daughter unhappy by not attending her wedding because she's marrying somebody from another like whatever the case is. Might as well, as a parent, I would think, yes, I mean, obviously, parents, they've lived through things, they know things, they might perceive things. We get it, right? But I believe that sometimes parents should also try to accompany their kids, because it's much better. Because at the end of the day, what you're trying to do is to protect and help your kids, right? Because she's getting married regardless, right? In this affair, instead of kind of letting them dry, because then that could create a whole nother shenanigan. So yeah.
I would say one more thing about it. The thing is, we just follow what the parent gives to us, because we were raised, we were born when our parents were married, right? For me, I would that way. But the thing is, because sometimes I would say, because sometimes, as I said before, sometimes, because there is two people. There is the people think that the marriage is just a paper sign, and the other people think that the marriage is more than that, and something like it's a whole life. It's a whole life, right? But the thing is, we just reproduce our what their parent did it to us, because the parents raised us into the marriage, right? And then when we grew up, when we go in relationship, we have to reflect, or we have to repeat the same thing, because we just follow what we know, right? That's the thing. Because if you don't know something, how you going to reproduce something you don't know?
I think there are two cases. There are those who have family and they reproduce the same thing, and there are those who didn't like whatever the dynamic was and they do the complete opposite. So it's not like our parent did. I think it depends on where you stand, depending on where you've lived, what you've had in life. If you've had like role models, like you can do the same thing, and some people choose to do that. But if you didn't like what you saw growing up, people create a complete opposite of it. So it's not like it's systematic. I think comes a point where it doesn't matter what your parents has taught you or what you know from what you've learned from your parents. You have to come to a point where when you reach maturity, you have to make the decision that is best for your life. That can be following what you've learned from your parents, or creating a new culture, a different culture from what you've learned, so that it can fit with who you are or what you're trying to create for the future.
But I got a question for you ladies, because I'm going to just point you, because you are not married right now on the panel. I would say, question for you ladies. The thing is, what you think about your, how do you visualize your relationship? If you go in a relationship with someone, are you going to stay in a relationship like this, or you are planning to get married sometime at this point?
Cool.
I'll start.
Okay, go ahead, Nadia.
So the question is,
if you're in a relationship right now, I don't know if you ladies, if you are in a relationship right now. I'm just questioning yours.
You're asking hypothetically, right? So if we're in a relationship, do we foresee it to be personally, would we choose to kind of ride it out, or do we want to get married? Was that the question? I want to make sure I'm answering.
Yeah, that's the question. Yeah.
I think again, definitely.
What's your plan for going forward? What's your plan? Are you going to just take leave your independence, or are we going to go through to the right?
We're afraid. We're gonna answer you.
I know, Mike. Let me get in. Okay.
No, I'm just questioning, because I think there is two people in the panel, in the comment. There is two people.
Right.
I heard what you say. The thing is, I'm just thinking, but you tell me if I'm wrong. I'm just thinking you are thinking the marriage is just a paper sign. It's not just a paper sign. It's more than
a paper what?
Paper sign.
Oh, okay, sign paper. Okay, yeah. Oh yeah, no, definitely not.
No. It's more than that.
Oh no, I agree with you there, Wilfred. It is definitely more. I think that's how we started off this discussion, knowing what it is. It's definitely more than you just, I do, and you give me the ring, and this is a great honeymoon, and we sign the paper, and now I can say a Mrs. in front of my name. Mm-hmm. It's definitely more than that.
This is why I'm asking you a question. You and married, I'm asking you a question. If, for example, just example, if you go in a relationship right now,
right,
and you've been in a relationship for 1, 2 years or 3 years, what is your future plan?
First of all, that's 1, 2, 3 years. You should be knowing way before then. We had this discussion before.
That's part of your
way before that point, about that conversation needs to be happening way before the 3-year mark about what's going to be happening. Let's just say it like that. First of all.
4 seasons.
Like a year should be more than enough time for you to know this ain't it.
Good.
Yeah, I got to move on to greener pastures. Like, this is what it is. So
just in combat, before you plan to get kids, what you gonna do? Before you plan
I plan to have kids.
Let's have kids.
Okay, let him answer.
We're gonna start. We're gonna answer. Each of us is gonna answer. Nadi's gonna start. Then either Adisa or Nai will follow. We're gonna answer your question.
But I'm like, bullets. Hold on. What was? Let me just get the first question.
I meant to listen.
Okay. So I think, as I was saying, I don't think that there should be like some 3-year time frame for us to figure out that this is what it's going to be. Within that year, we should already, within the first 6 months, we should already be knowing, like, this is the potential of a person that I'm going to move forward with. And if in the case, just like you said, marriage is not about a piece of paper. It's about communication. It's about compromises. A lot of things involved in that. And within that 6 months, you should already know that those components that are needed to do that are there, or if they're not.
Let me stop you right here. Yeah, let me stop you right here. 6 months, it could be more than that. It could be less or more than that. It's different. It depends.
Well, it depends on. It could. I'll give you that.
It's another conversation.
That's another conversation, because we could talk about people's emotional intelligence and their level of development. There's a lot of things that could be going into why this conversation is longer than 6 months. But I'm talking about me. So I think that within that time frame, you should be able to have a good understanding of this person and understand that this is someone you want to spend your life with. Now, the growing together part, that can happen down the line, because you're not going to know everything about everything within a year, but you'll know enough to say, you know what, I know enough that I feel like I'm committed enough to take this next step. Now, there isn't going to be this, like, at least for me, there isn't going to be this, like, we're going to hang out till 3 years and I'm going to decide whether I like you and I'm going to figure out that you don't like yellow flowers by year 2. No. We're going to know.
That's fact.
We're going to know that. But that's the point, though. The point is that you once you get to a certain realm of, like, dating and relationship, you know how to get rid of the fluff. You know how to, like, let's have a discussion. And let's be real, because I'm not going to waste your time. You're not going to waste my time. And I'm not going to put you on some list like I hate you, like a no-fly zone, I ain't never talking to you again. No, I'm friends with you. We're cool. We just know we're not aligned in that area. And then we can move on. But I think that happens way beyond this, like 1 to 3. You know, you're hypothetically talking time frame, 1 to 3 times. But that's my 2 cents. That's all I had to say.
Adisa, you want to go next?
Yeah, wait, what was the question again?
The question was, when you get in a relationship, what you think about the going forward after, I would say, but let me keep 90 way after 6 months. What you think about what would be your plan after 6 months in relationship?
No,
and after 6 months and before you plan to have
stuff. Okay.
Right. I would say at the 6 months mark, just like Nali said, there should be, in a sense, conversation, right?
Right.
Conversation as to where we're trying to head, like where we're trying to head. We've hung out enough that, like, it's not just, hey, I like you type of thing. It's like, at a particular age, I know I'm secure, like I know I have a job, whatever the case may be. Where are we trying to head? Do you even see marriage in your future? Because besides me, or besides you dating me or me dating you, do you even envision yourself getting married? Do these goals kind of align? So it's like, I would say at that particular point, it's a conversation as to where exactly we're heading. It's like, where are you heading individually, or where are you heading together? And if that possibly can align into basically the goals that you guys have, together, or possibly not, right? Because you could figure out, okay, well, he doesn't want to get married. He's like, not into marriage, because maybe his parents were divorced or whatever the case may be, because that could play another part. So definitely that conversation. And I would say, I mean, the goal is, I'm gonna say for me, in my relationship, to get married, hopefully soon next year.
That's a spicy thing.
Where's he at?
These are real close, like, but
we watch you.
So
That's good.
Take your cue, man.
Yeah, and hopefully, and I think it's like, you want to get married, obviously before you have your kids, and before you enter into motherhood and nurture somebody else and create that family bond. But I know, for example, I think we all know either people or friends or family that did, for example, have kids before getting married. That, I would say, that doesn't shouldn't deter you from getting married. As long as you kind of have that conversation with your partner as to where you guys are going and where you guys are heading, especially early on in the relationship, so that you have those goals aligned. So it's not like, okay, a year in, it's like, oh, I didn't know you didn't want to get married. No.
And that's something you would find out within the first 6 months. Like, oh, that's not your thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bet. Okay.
That was very nice. So,
did you say we're very nice? This is about to be.
I'll be going straight to the point.
Yeah, she be getting real. There's no nuance.
That bothers people. I go straight to the point. If this is not what you're doing, let me just say this as a disclaimer. I'm closer to the 40s now. I'm in that area right there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So whatever I know and where I start right now is not where I was standing when I was 19, 20, 30-ish, when I had
definitely.
Right.
It's not the same. So at that age, maybe you have 10 years to wait until you decide you want to have the conversation about marriage. But where I am standing right now, I don't have that time. Let's have conversation. First of all, even before dating, like first, second date. Is it somebody that I think is marriage material? Putting it out there? Yeah, okay, let's give it 3 months of dating to see what that looks like. And then let's have the conversation. Hey, this is where I'm heading. Are you heading somewhere close to that? Or are you like on the complete opposite direction?
Close to that.
You don't waste my time. I don't waste your time.
Your GPS kind of.
After 3 months? After 3 months, Carlita?
She knows. I'll do that even before 3 months.
Not even.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
She makes a valid
Do you
point.
think it scares men? The married men, right? Does it scare men if a woman is like,
that's a great question.
In the first or second date, what are your plans? Do you feel like you want to get married in the future and all that good stuff? Do you feel like it scares men? Because in my mind, maybe from your reaction, it seems like it does, but I'm not really sure.
It's about the maturity of the. It's about the maturity.
You took the word out of my mouth, Andy.
Where they're at is gonna also be that, because if their mind is like, oh, this is fun, let me get to know you, and you hit them with, what's your intentions, and then they're like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
That might jar their brain because their brain's not even there. But if you have a guy, that's what I was thinking about. I'm listening to this and kind of thinking about over time how the way that we perceive marriage throughout the progression of time. A lot of people are getting married later now. So a lot of people are at a different stage. They're more business minded, more entrepreneurial. They got plans, they got things. And so it's much more of a strategic move than just like, here's the natural biological way things move. I met Harry and I met Sally and we're courting. It's like, courting is like a concept that comes from a book, not a regular natural concept anymore. It's like, oh, this is one strategic way in which you can do relationships out of an a la carte, course or whatever,
Right.
And so, it really depends on the maturity of the person that you are with, because if their mind frame is more like strategic thinking, they'll be right on track. As soon as you start talking like that, they'll be like, oh, okay, I like where this is going. And then you'll start to have that it'll be a productive conversation. If you got somebody who's sort of like in the wind, just like sort of enjoying life, then you hit that, that's definitely going to jar them.
Yeah. And I think
I agree with you, Dan. But sometimes the thing is, sometimes when you're dating someone and when you get a relationship, sometimes I would say it's not generally. Sometimes when you're dating someone in the beginning of the relationship, when you're dating someone, the kind of question come to the table from the ladies when they ask you a question like, what is your perspective as a man? Are you planning to get married someday, or just wasting my time, or we just stay together? That's the kind of question is coming on the dating when you're dating some woman. Or something. It's not generally, but sometimes it's coming to the table. They ask me a question about what's your perspective as a man? What is your perspective as a man? Are you trying to get a long relationship, get married, or be something? This is why I ask a question to the ladies. We are unmarried, because for me, the marriage is like an owner. You just get your future wife the owner on your family owners. It's just like an owner because
honor. Okay.
Yeah, it's respect.
I thought he said owner. I was like, wait, what? Honor.
Yeah, honor. Sorry, excuse my French, Nelly. Sorry about it.
No. Will, I was about to start coming for you. Like, wait, did he say owner?
Honor, yeah.
No. I feel you. No, I agree with your point. I agree.
Now I was about to get on.
I was like, did he say owner?
What did you say?
No, I appreciate the accent. Go right ahead. Continue.
Right. The thing is, this is the kind of question some ladies ask the people when they're dating us, when they're dating them, they ask a question like, what's your perspective as a man? Because that's the first question you come into the dating. What's your perspective? Because you come dating me, what's your perspective? Are you trying to play with me? Are you trying to one night stand? Are you trying to do something?
Let's talk about your case specifically, okay? When you were dating your girlfriend, which is now your wife for a certain number of years, like you knew what you want. So either she asked the question, you knew where you were heading. The issue is a lot of men nowadays just want to hit it and quit. So if you are a woman and you know where you're going, talking about independence, Nadia, see your face. Talking about being
trying to just
a culture where we want more. We want more. We definitely don't want to waste our time. So either we agree that is a hit and quit, or if you want to waste my time every day and us talking, even texting, I want to know where this is going because I don't have time for this.
Yeah, but there's a
lot of emotional investment in that as well, as far as women are concerned.
Yeah, but the marriage is not in our plan when you're dating someone on the first date. On the first date.
Not the first date. I'm not
come on now.
Where you headed?
Ain't nobody going on the first date like, listen, I got my checklist. We're going through 21 questions, and are you going to get married? Like, no. No, I don't agree with that either. I don't agree with that.
No, now we have agreed. That's the thing.
Don't scare anybody.
That's great. I'm going to the bathroom. I'll be back.
Like, okay, this is how we're gonna be married. This is a picture. This is a vision here.
No. Yeah. If somebody were to do that to me, I would go to the bathroom and not come back. Like I understand.
That's a stock character on a comedy sitcom.
That's like crazy. No, that I get what you're saying, Will. If that's what you're saying, as far as you're throwing it down in somebody's throat too quick. I understand that. It has to be an organic conversation. There has to be some time of you getting to know each other and understanding who you are. And again, what we've been talking about, where each person's maturity level is, will deem how quickly that process goes and where you are. And as far as maturity, age, there's a lot of components that are involved in that. But regardless of the fact, that should not be the conversation that you're having the first time you meet. I remember ironic story. I met a girl one time and she was like, huh?
Khalida looked like maybe.
No.
Let me slide you this card. Fill out this.
Oh, hold on a second. Now I'm gonna send you a text. Circle 1.
No.
Yeah.
That's funny. That's funny.
That's it.
That's like asking somebody the first time you meet them, is Jesus Christ your Lord and Savior?
Yeah.
Like,
and then the door gets played.
Whoa. First of all, let me just take a breath. You know what I mean? Like there has to be this like element of you getting to know somebody. You don't ask your dentist that right off the bat. You know what I mean? Like it takes some time. It takes time. And I agree with Wolford there. It takes time. Now, I mean, the thing is how much time? That's the point, of contention. I see that we got the life jog joining us.
The El Comante is here. Our spicy brother is in the room.
Yes.
I see. Will's been keeping the spice going for you.
Let's go.
Yeah. 3 guys, 3 guys married and 2 3 ladies.
Here we go.
That is
how many times he's saying this?
This is legit. Hey, Wilfred, you're the spicy one, man. I just hopped on the call and you're already saying things like that, man. Good.
There's
a lot of spice. There's a lot
He's
of
going in. He's going in.
Hey, yo. Hey, how you guys doing?
Hey, man.
Great. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm hanging in there. You know.
Friday with the kiddos. Hey.
Yes.
Yeah.
Man, Maui, man, everything.
Baby on the
So
hip.
cute.
Yes.
I like that.
Yeah, there's the other one right here. So anyway, I just hopped in the conversation. You know, I just want to say hi to everybody. Dondi, Wilfried, Adisa, Nali,
Hey.
Carlita, are you still in a hot land?
Listen, I'm here. Have you guys been seeing what's going on in Senegal lately?
That's why I've been I'm asking the question.
Cray.
Yeah, I'm here.
There's a lot of cray going on.
It looks like it's kind of civil war or something, or what's going on?
Very close to that.
I'm like, what?
Waking up finally. Anyway,
So what's your viewpoint on this live jog? I'm kind of interested to know what your thoughts.
Hey, also, I thought Life Jog Spicy is supposed to be the plug right here. We talked about that a couple weeks ago. I know what's up with that plug, man?
You know, when the Lord told to Abraham to move, he didn't say move now and then you're gonna get
it. Okay.
Got it right.
Yeah.
Good time. Yeah. Anyway, about the topic, should we all is marriage for all of us? To be honest, I don't think so. I actually don't think so. I think that there's a few people on this earth that are destined to walk this life on their own path. You know what I'm saying? It's like if they it's just like everybody's destined to their own. Everybody got their own destiny, right? So if a person, a soul has come into this earth to walk their own path, and they don't meet the person that's going to help them fulfill their journey, then no matter who they come across, that it might not work. So I think that from the perspective of some souls have the responsibility to just like walk on this life on their own. And yes, now if we just want to go by the construct of society and tradition, even the society might want some people to be married. There's some people that even marriage won't fulfill. That's just that. It's not about fulfillment. It's like marriage might not fulfill the people, men or women. So that's just my 2 cents. Now to each his own, understanding who they are and what's the purpose here. But if we have to dig deeper, some people maybe in this life might not make it, but in the next life they might. I just said something.
That was nice.
There's the spice. There it is.
Just kidding.
I just said something. I didn't know I was gonna start something else.
I like that.
So here it is now. We're halfway through the show now, and let me and I think Dondi's brought something very interesting at the beginning. Like for those who think marriage is for them, what can you guys, the married folks, tell us about, like, what are some of the great benefit of being married? How has your life changed since you got married? And then some of the downfalls of like being married. What are some of the things that you gave away when you married?
Oh, that's good.
When you're married, you can do everything with your partner. Everything. Not on the bad way. No on the bad food. Not on the bad way, but on the good way, you can do everything. We can do everything. You can build everything. You can construct everything together. Do many things together, because it's more than like energy, but it's like you just getting one person. You just both go on the same way, and you just follow your future together, and you do many things together, because it's like I would say it's like you open the new way. You just open a new way, and you go through the new way, or you go to in your future with your partner.
Let me just put some spice, a little bit of spice up here. We can clearly tell Wilfred has a happy marriage. What if you're married to the wrong person, though?
If you're married to the wrong person, you get out of there. You get out. You just get out. Just end it up. You end it up, you get out.
Okay.
When you figure out, you
gotta work on it.
Earlier, Wilfred, you were talking about society pressure and all that. You know, you don't get all that easy.
Yeah, society pressure is there. We know that. Right. The thing is, when you go on the way, you know you go on the wrong way. You back off. You think about it. When you go down, you just wake it up and go to another way. That's it.
Wilfred, some people wake up 5 years into the marriage. So how would they know?
They were sleeping.
He was sleep.
They hit the snooze. The snooze. If
a wise
you wake up
man
5 years into your marriage, you hit the snooze. You know what that means? What was the proverb? Somebody had told us 2 weeks ago was like, any red flags that you see in your marriage, they have said hi to you during the dating stage. I forgot exactly what the proverb was, but it was like, this is not your first meeting.
Right.
You know? So if you're waking up 5 years into your marriage, you definitely hit the snooze. You know.
I want to ask you guys a question, because here's the thing. You guys are going from the mindset that people are mature enough to understand themselves, to the point that they understand the other person, to the point that they understand.
You're getting married.
What do they need? What is their emotion? What is their need? What is all like? I mean, there's a lot of people that get married and they're 35. They still don't know themselves.
That's
I agree.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, so how do you know you're going in the right direction? Because this person in front of you looking like they know themselves, and then something happens, and then it triggers them, and then they start behaving a certain way, and then that turns you off, and then you deal with another layer, and then that turns you off, and then at the end of the day, be like, who did I marry? Like, this is not the person that I married, because it's through adversity that you're discovering this person.
I agree with you. I know.
5 years later.
I agree with you, Rudy, but the thing is, the marriage doesn't do everything. Yeah? The thing is, when you get married, you build your marriage every single day in your life after marriage. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like a relationship.
That's why you want to do the work, though. Because a lot of people are married just because it looks good to be married.
It's true.
They don't want to do the work.
Let's be honest. Some people are just getting married because they want to do the do.
Yeah.
Some people
These are the unmarried though. That's what I think. These are the unmarried.
No, sorry. It's not just
No.
Only for unmarried folks. Don't start.
Yeah. I agree with that. You know where you see the example of that?
Yeah.
This is where you see the immaturity of that is embodied in a lot of Hollywood relationships. You see people that are get together, and it's the norm. It's the norm that marriages are like dating in high school, because these people get together for impulsive reasons. They get together because it looks good. They spend some time. The paparazzi was good when they were together. They got a project. They need to get their things done. Bam. It's not always. There are relationships in that area of like the celebrity world that have lasted, and you can see that those are people that were mature, that were thinking about it. They weren't so caught up in all of this kind of external stuff that doesn't really have much to do with marriage. I guess my answer to Life Jog would be, if somebody is 5 years in, just like Carlita said, you got a choice: get out or do the work. That's your choice.
Exactly.
If you can't make that decision, then that's probably part of the problem, because marriage is about a commitment. So if you can't commit to one of those decisions, then that's probably your issue right there.
Totally agree. And we add one more thing. The thing is, the marriage is like a divorce. It's a decision. When you make a decision to get married, you never plan to get divorced first. It's not the first plan. The first plan is to get it work. Get this marriage work. When it work, when it doesn't, now you don't have the solution yet. At the end of the day, you make a decision to get divorced. That's it. That's the things. It's a decision. When you get married, it's a decision, and divorce is a decision as well.
Let me add one other thing though that speaks to Nolly's point, where she was talking about some people get married to do the do. You have people that religious folks. You have religious folks that is their interpretation of scripture, because Paul says it is better to get married than to burn. Now,
Amen.
They don't take into the concept into consideration any of the maturity or the thinking, the critical thinking of going into that. They're like, bro, he said don't burn.
You're mute, Natty. We can hear you. You're mute.
You know,
give your spicy here. Give your spicy. You're mute, Natty.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. They're not thinking with the right body part. That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? It's all about, this is what the church told me, and so I can't do A, B, and C until I find me a 1, 2, 3. So I'm gonna find me a 1, 2, 3, and then don't even think about what the elements involved are about that. I know you about to say something, Jog. I already see it.
No, it's all in the combo. It's all in the combo. When you say
he came off on camera, so I was like, he got something to say.
He was laughing. Yeah, when you say I'm doing the A, B, C, D as the Bible says, the thing is all in the combo. You do the A, B, C, D, what the Bible says, and also you think about yourself, because you think about the man or the woman in front of you. Are we synchronized or together? Are we been together for a long time? Are we get married for a long time? You have to think about everything on the same time. You think about your ABC.
About people that don't look like that.
What you want and what you should get into.
He's talking about people that don't think like that. Their ABC is do the do. ABC, do the do. And I have scripture because Paul told me that's what I want to do, then this is what I gotta do.
And that's why these church relationships be suffering.
Yeah. And people take that as a legitimate thing because there's scripture and there's Bible in it. And they don't.
But Paul wasn't even married though. Paul wasn't married. So how is he gonna tell you to do something? He wasn't even married in the first place. So
you know what though? There's some scholars. There's some scholars that believe that he was married and it didn't go well, and that's why he has the.
So basically, we get our relationship coach is a person that didn't make it work. So which means we can learn a couple of lessons. We can learn a couple of lessons from that. Right? You ain't got no track record, and you're telling me do this. Well, which means whatever you were doing didn't work out, and then you take it and you write it in the book, and you want me to follow, and then if I follow, it don't work out. But check this out. Why do we have problems? Why do we really have problems? Again, it's because a lot of people just follow scripture without context. And when I say that, I'm going with this. Paul wasn't married, so even if he was married, it didn't work out. So which means us that are following his advice, we need to have another reference or some comparative references. Number one. Number two, relationship is not written in a book. You gotta know your person. Period. And a lot of people.
Is what I was saying.
A lot of people discover themselves. I mean, I'm gonna be blunt. Like a lot of people don't even know themselves until they are in their 40s and 50s. That's a lot of men don't know themselves until they're in their 40s and 50s. And
it's not just men. It's not just men. I'm just not gonna put that out there.
Exactly. Even women. I know women that in their 60s they still haven't dealt with the teenager. They still haven't dealt with the teenager in them, and they are already grandmothers. So how are you gonna know what your needs are if you're stuck in a kid's age? If you're still stuck to that kid in your mind. So that's why I say, relationship is a tough thing, and marriage is even tougher because it's two sometimes child people stuck in adult bodies that are still trying to figure out themselves. And for some people, it's like just getting to know themselves. It's a life journey. That's why I say you might get to know yourself in this life, and then you come back, and then you're gonna have to go in another level of getting to know yourself, and eventually, hopefully, living a better life. So it's a journey. It's a journey.
I mean, it is a journey, and the thing that I would add. Oh, go ahead, Will.
No, go ahead, Natalie. Go ahead. Go first.
I think the thing that I would add, even more so, rather than being about marriage, it's about healing. It's about you as an individual knowing that you are healed and that you are whole. Because let's not even put marriage in the equation. If you're not healed and whole, you're going to have issues in all areas of your life. And it's going to manifest in different ways and different things. And then if you keep thinking it's other people and not you, that's where the problem is. So you want to have discussions about sharing your life with someone, but you're not even centered and don't know, like the point that he said, there are women in the higher ages who haven't healed from the trauma from stuff that may have happened to them 20 years ago. And it's just been, cycling and just going through generations. Like that's what it really comes down to, whether it's any kind of relationship. You need to be centered with who you are, know yourself, love yourself, know your journey, and then be willing to share that. I mean, you're not going to be 100% perfect when you're meeting whoever you're meeting to live life with. That's not the goal. But the goal is to at least have a clear understanding of you, your purpose, what you're going to do, because then you're not putting it on somebody else to try to heal you, to try to fix you, to try to, or vice versa. Like, that's the thing.
Yeah. I think that's exactly what I think it comes back to, be willing to do the work. If you're not willing to do the work as you, as an individual, you won't be willing to do the work as a couple, because life is work. Nothing comes easy, right? If people talk about the abundant life, but that requires that you put in the work and that you actually commit to doing the work in order to grow. People talk about holiness in the church. We talk about that a lot. Holiness is a journey. It's not about being perfect. It's about seeking to get whole and to be healed from whatever trauma you've lived throughout your life were. But the thing is that we now are in a situation where a lot of people want things, but they don't want to do the work that it requires to get those things. And I think that
I wonder where that comes from. This instant gratification.
Our generation. Exactly. That's the whole issue of our generation, which I was coming to. Hi, Dominic.
Hey, Dominic. Hey.
We want things quickly, the micro generation, just like you said, and we don't want to do the work. But our parents, they were educated to do the work.
But then they didn't do it either, though. Some of them, they didn't do it either. Yeah.
Okay, let me add one more thing about that. Okay, let me add one more thing about this. The thing is,
he's coming off the camera again. You already know.
Whenever
that camera come on, you know something's about to drop.
We need to also, speak at some point.
Yeah, we need to both speak.
Yeah. The thing is, just one more thing, quick. The thing is, you shouldn't be to get too much perfect, because the thing is, you get to learn yourself into the relationship as well. When you get in a relationship, when you get married.
I mean,
don't be
there is
so
an
perfect.
aspect of
Don't be so perfect. Yeah, don't be so much perfect before you get married.
There's a part of you that needs to be healed before you even engage anybody else, right? We talked about it earlier. When you come out of a relationship that actually damaged you, you need time to be by yourself a little bit, to restore yourself, at least to a certain degree, before you get further into joining somebody to your mess.
Agree. I would just say, don't be so perfect. You have to be a middle. You have to be like.
What if you're trash, Wilfried? What if you're just trash, man? What if you're just trash that we just need to scrape from the ground? You're struggling with life, but you're a good person.
Every day, even if you get married, you're struggling every day. Even if you get married or not married, you're struggling. Life is just struggling. Life is risky every single day.
Well, technically, it's not supposed to be struggle. Women shouldn't marry the struggle love. No, I don't agree with that. Women shouldn't sign up for struggle love. No, life is not struggle. No,
life is struggle.
I rebuke. So. Good. No, for real.
No, I'm not agree with you. You're right. But we're struggling. Life, as you said before, life is a journey, right? We working hard to get life better. Even if you get married or before you get married, this is why I always say to Carlita, don't be so perfect. Be you, right? Just be you and build the rest.
You know, I don't believe in perfection. That is clear. Everybody around me knows that I do not believe in perfection. So I will never be perfect. Never, ever. I'm not even claiming to be. I do, however, believe in perfectibility, which means that you put in the work to get better, to be a better version of you. But I will not be perfect. That is for sure. That being said, though, still, I think there is like a stigma, especially this is another like very gendered conversation when it comes to like relationship. When you are a woman and you know what you want and what you don't want, it causes issues to some people. You become problematic. But when you are a man, you are allowed to have those feelings.
I don't agree. I don't agree with that.
You want women to be independent.
Wilfried, come on, man.
Come on,
Wilfried, come on, man. Wilfried, come on.
What y'all think?
Well, Don, you said that in the beginning. That whole independent streak thing. It's true.
No, I'm not agreeing.
Wait. I want to hear from Dominique and Junior. What y'all think?
What do you guys think, Dominique and Junior?
I agree. I think there is a double standard, and I can speak from my own experience. Once I decided what my boundaries were, once I drew the line in the sand, it's almost like, well, who does she think she is? She's so conceited, or she has a goalpost and nobody can meet that goalpost. But I don't think that that's fair. I think that we should all have the ability and the opportunity to say, look, this is a deal breaker for me. This is what I want. This is what I don't want. And it's individual, right? And it doesn't mean that you think you're better than anyone. It doesn't mean, but at the end of the day, if you're living this life and you're learning and growing, your needs should vary. It should change. I don't believe that you have to experience everything personally. I can learn from something that someone else has experienced, and I think they can be my teacher. Their experience can teach me. And so
that's the purpose of the relationship. That's the purpose of that.
But I'm best friends with Carlita, and she's dating somebody, and I've seen what happened to her and what she went through, and that I can learn from that and say, you know what? That's something I have to look out for. I don't have to experience everything, but at the same time, how are you ever going to get what you want if you don't have any standard, if you don't know who you are? And then the other thing I want to add is there's a meme where there's a woman just dragging a whole bunch of men behind her. And that's what happens if you don't get healed. You just are dragging a whole bunch of men behind you and a whole bunch of experiences behind you and a whole bunch of trauma behind you. You want to offload. I'm not saying that we're not going to have a luggage set, but you can have a carry-on and not a 6-piece luggage set.
Facts.
Yeah.
Very true. Well said.
Wow, that's deep.
It was a tough introductions. Thank you, Dominique.
Wow.
I like
I'm going to have a post. I'm going to have like a quote like on with that one. I'm going to put Dominique's face on it. It's like, you can have a carry-on. You don't need a 6-piece. That's it. Hey, coin it.
I mean, we all have something. So I'm just saying, work on your set. You can come in with something, but don't come in with all 6 pieces. Come on.
Don't be so perfect. I would say that. That's my word. I would say that. Don't be so perfect.
What about Junior?
Be you. Be in the middle and just learn something with your partner. That's it.
Junior, we want to hear from you.
What you think about it, young man?
Junior.
Young man, what you think about on your young age?
Yeah. Hi, everybody. So on my young age, I believe that. Well, I mean, for the question, like I say, I think that everybody can be married, but everybody should not be married.
That was a great point.
Yeah, and like Carlita said, because not everybody is willing to do the work. I think this is the main point. You know, I say this because when I met my girlfriend, basically her mother raised her to be a woman. You know, so when I come to her, she say, if you want to be with me, you need to know that we're gonna work toward marriage. You know, and it's gonna start.
Did she
right
say
now.
that on the first date?
She ain't playing games.
I mean,
She was playing games. I'm just saying. Kudos.
Repeat what you say. Hello?
Was it early on that she said that? Like very soon in the
Yeah,
relationship?
that was kind of early. Yeah.
Because she was a pastor daughter, right?
Yeah. I think that's
Wait, stop with that. Like, come on, live.
She said, "Don't waste my time."
Hey, the better question. Was it effective? Was that a good point of communication for you?
Don't waste my time.
Don't waste my time.
I mean, yeah, for me it was. It was good because I mean, honestly, I was looking for the same thing, because a lot of people of my young age, they just want to, have a relationship just like that. But I was never like this. I was never like that, And I tell myself, if I find a woman that really love me and is willing to do the work, then I'm willing to do the work with her. So this is what she told me. But one thing that she said that really kept my attention. She said that, you know what, this is my list. I mean, she said, okay, this is my list, but I also want to. This is what I want, but this is what I'm willing to give.
Wow.
Oh wow.
Ooh.
Damn.
Wise comment right there.
I love
You guys.
This is why you left. Right? This is why you left. You
That's
just
nice.
She was
That's
playing no
nice.
games. She was playing no games. She came in equipped.
She wasn't ready. She was like, I ain't carrying no luggage here. This
You
is
ain't
great.
carrying no extra luggage, right?
Carry on.
You know what? Let me just buy back. Let me
You
just
told him, be with my list or you can carry on.
Wow.
She worked on her set before she came in, okay?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
But
Wow.
yeah, I mean, the other thing is we still did a lot of work because of the difference of cultures. She's American, I'm African, so it was still a lot of work. But I think that we still working on it. We can do it. Like I say, it's a lot of work because it's very exhausting. Because I wasn't used to dealing with like emotional stuff. Sometimes it's too much. But it's better to have a woman that love you and and just keep going. You're not gonna jump woman to woman to. It's not a life. So yeah. So this is my opinion about it.
Good.
That's great. That's great. I think the emotional component is one of the most important parts, especially for men, because women can be emotional beings. And I think with men, sometimes it has to be, not pulled out, but given them the space in which to open up about it. And I think that's great that she, gave you that opportunity, because sometimes that's not always the case. So that's definitely.
Yeah. I think society does not allow our men to be emotional, which is very damaging for their development when it comes to psychologically. I think it's very pressuring for a man not to have a way to express themselves. And when they find a woman who let them just do that, they tend to appreciate that.
I think that was the thing for me. That was exactly the thing, because this is what I told her. She said, I don't know why you're so attached to me. I say, you may not understand it, but I grew up without having someone to care about how I feel.
Wow.
Yeah, we already talked about it.
Yeah, because you care about this is enough for me, because I don't know. Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
Wow.
Yeah.
Word, man.
Yeah, thank you, man.
In your young days, you've been way back.
Yeah, I mean, it's astounding that you're doing it such in earlier years, because I mean, I've been on this like healing process and watching, like, especially men, or at least I can only speak men in the U.S., Black men in the U.S. And I was recently listening to something I think this therapist, Jay Barnett, was talking about, and he was saying that men feel they have the same emotions women do. They think just as much, they have just as much emotion as we do. It's just manifested in a different way. It comes out in different facets. And if they don't want it to be used as manipulation or some type of strategy against them, it's harder to, if you don't give them that space in which to do that, it just gets bottled up and it's never addressed. So it's great that like you're doing this at this stage of your life.
Yeah, and also
just give you a secret, Nali. We are also human too.
Really? Thank you.
We are not animals. We are not.
I wasn't sure.
We are also human.
Don't be perfect, Nali. Come on now.
Where's the
Don't be perfect, Nali.
For real. Trying to strive for perfection. What's wrong with you?
Don't be perfect.
Oh my God.
Where's Adisa? Adisa, where you at?
Right here.
I'm listening.
This is like, yep.
Back to my question. What are some of the benefits? Because we have about 25 minutes left in the show. What are some of the benefits of you guys who are married? What can you guys tell us about? Like, what was some of the great thing that marriage is to you, and what are some of the things that you left behind you when you had to come into marriage? Because I want us to answer that question so people know what marriage really is. For me, it's an institution, right? So let's talk about that. Let's get a little bit serious about like what it is.
So I'll kind of start. There's a formal way of thinking about marriage, and then there's the reality of marriage. So the formal way of thinking about it, I think that's where you kind of get a lot of your societal ideas, what you get in your culture, what you think marriage is before you do marriage is not one of these experiences in life where you can get some shadowing hours in. You know what I'm saying? You can't go up in somebody's marriage and be like, okay, now y'all had that fight. Now what was going on in your head and what was going on in her head? You can't do that.
Don't you wish you could though? I do.
That would be interesting. That would be interesting if somebody could set up a shadowing program for marriage. I don't know. Maybe that's a good spin-off show we could do here to see what's going on there. But yeah, it's interesting because I know one of the things that, like in the first week when my wife and I, when we were married, I think that might have been the most fights we've ever had. The first week, like coming back from honeymoon and just like unpacking and getting stuff together. And we're like, wait a minute, what is going on here? Because we're supposed to be married, they're supposed to be happy, and everything is just happy. Why is this the most that we've in our whole relationship that we've ever done? And it's a natural process of getting used to each other. I mean, you think that you spend a lot of time together, you think that that you guys know each other, but being married and being not married it's not the same thing. It just isn't, because you don't have the commitment. You don't have I'm locked into this. It's not all the way there. I would make that argument because some people will say we have all the commitment, but we are not married on paper. I say, if you're not married on paper, then you haven't done the full extent of what that commitment is. This is like legally, this is how far society says you have to go in order to make this claim on this person. If you haven't done that, it is going to always influence the dynamics of your marriage. So that's the structural kind of formal part. When you get into the actual relationship, what you find there for me was a real freedom from a lot of those expectations. I didn't feel that I had to carry myself a certain way in terms of societal expectations, because now I have made that commitment to this person. And now we can be open about it. If there's actually an area where I was like, man, I don't actually know this that well, I could get to a point where I could actually just say that to my wife, be like, you know what? I'm actually not really that good with money. I need to really learn about that. Are you better with that? Or like, let's figure out how to do that together. And I didn't have the pressure of feeling like, oh, this person's about to bounce on me because I've just revealed some shortcoming that I have. So I would say one of the biggest benefits that I've experienced in marriage is this freedom from a lot of expectations or like the fronts that you have to put on. We had the best dates after we were married because we could actually enjoy the time. We didn't have to be like, how do I look? What am I saying? What is she thinking about what I'm saying right now? There was a freedom that came once we were connected in that way. So that would be my biggest benefit, a freedom from those expectations.
And some of the downfalls are some of the things that you have to let go that you actually like before marriage.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay. I gotta be careful. My wife is right here. She's right there. She's just laughing at me right now. Downfalls? I don't know if I would call them downfalls. I think I'll say adjustments. Mm-hmm. Freedom is definitely different. You still have it, but you have to talk about it. You know, like if you want to go out and do things, if you want to spend your time doing certain things, you could just do it, but because you're still an adult and whatever, but then you're now neglecting your commitment. So if you're going to be faithful to your commitment, you have to discuss those things. You can't just do life as it's not like, all right, well, I'm still going to just be me. You are now, you know, even if you want to, you know, get the biblical thing, you're not just you. You're actually supposed to be together, connected, and you have to think of the other person as an extension of you. And so that means they are a part of every aspect of your life. If you haven't had that commitment, then yeah, you do not have, you've never had to deal with that, where you have to consider somebody in every single thing that you do, somebody else. And so sometimes that can be a pressure that you're not used to having because you're not used to having it. And some people, they adjust, and some people it becomes a strain on the relationship, and it becomes a sense of regret. So it really depends on how, for me, I think it depends on how you look at that. You can look at it as like a downfall, or like the joke is always like a ball and chain kind of thing now, or you can look at it as, all right, this is an adjustment that I'm making based on my commitment. And if you look at it as an adjustment that you're making based on your commitment, then as time goes, it's not going to be such a strain, or it's not going to be as difficult because you have it in your mind that you're working to make that adjustment, and so you fit into it. So it really, it is something that it is a difficulty, definitely, for both people because they're doing that. But if you look at it as an adjustment and not something negative, then you can naturally work through it, I think.
Got it.
Very insightful.
You want to take that?
Wilfried,
Louis, you can go ahead.
No, I let Wilfried talk. I'm listening. I'm taking notes.
Taking notes. I would say I have nothing to add because Dan said everything. I would say for me, that's fine. For me, it's like is everything. Everything like you can't be you anymore. It's like you have to think about together, be together. You do the thing together. You think for your couple, or you think for together, right? You do many things together. It's not about freedom, but it's different kind of freedom. But you think like, as a man, I would say you feel like you accomplish something. You accomplish something in your way, or in your main way, in your way cycle life, right? You think that it's like respectful. You just put your partner or your future wife or your wife in position on the high level of respectful, right? Because you respect the family, because you marry her, You respect their family, you respect your culture, you respect your religion, even if you go in your religion. And also, the benefit of that is like you do many things together. You can carry on for different projects together, like have a kid or build something or build a business or do many things together because you are not alone anymore. You have two of us and you think like for two people. It's like a two brain just merged for one brain and just think about many things together, do many things together. When you struggle to something, you eventually know you have someone behind you in your back, right? You just guard you or protect you or do something or can help you, even if you struggle for something. That's the thing. That's the benefit of marriage. Because sometimes it could be in relationship as well, but in marriage you feel like a freedom of that. You feel like I'm free to talk. I'm free to be emotional. I'm free to be myself for everything because this is my partner. This is my best friend, my partner, my wife, my everything, my best of me in front of me. That's the thing.
Wow.
That's good.
Okay.
Yeah. That vulnerability component. You know what I mean? When you have that partnership, that commitment, it may be easier to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you come part of oh, sorry, Wilfred, go ahead.
No, that's all right.
Yeah. Okay. The way I know now you divorced, but like, what was some of the good things that you had, like, being married?
For me, I like the fact that I had a partner, and in every aspect, the same person to be intimate with, the same person. I don't like the idea of jumping around and having multiple sexual experiences. I like the idea of one person meeting my needs and I'm meeting his needs, right? So that's like when you're not married, it's So I like the stability of that. And then I like what Wilfred and Dundee said. It's like you're now have a teammate. Right now, I have to think about all of the bills. I have to think about the budget on my own. I have to think about the investments. Sometimes, you don't have that person to bounce, should I jump into this stock? Should I do this? Should I, I have to, thank God for the, the Holy Spirit. I'm very, I trust God and I pray and I believe that, he is a husband to the husbandless. And so I don't feel the 100% emptiness. I feel like, I'm in a waiting period, but that's the thing that I miss and I look forward to is to having that teammate, that partner.
That's amazing.
That's good. Yeah. I think companionship is like that's like, we hit in 3 for 3 right now. The companionship component, you know what I mean? Which seems to be a little bit more elaborate than being in a regular relationship, but
that's inspiring.
Yeah.
So Louis, your turn.
Oh boy. Okay. Sometimes companionship don't work in marriage, so sometimes you got to go through the fire first and then you build a companionship, right? So sometimes it's a commitment at the beginning. It's a commitment. I think Dundee's touch on it. It's really the vulnerability aspect of the marriage that I believe is a key component, because there's a lot of people that are not vulnerable in life. They don't want to be vulnerable. They don't put themselves in position to be vulnerable. They don't even allow themselves to be vulnerable at all. And I think, oh, wait. Okay, let me see. I got to put the headphones away. All right, can y'all? Okay, now I don't have a lot of battery left, so I'm gonna give my component.
Hey, what's up?
Hey.
So what did marriage really bring? I would say for me, marriage brought the aspect of having one person that I'm accountable to, okay, and one person that I feel like I know I have to hold that's gonna hold me accountable for everything that I do. Number one, and number two is a person that we gotta like walk together. So whenever I'm kind of like slacking off on the goal that we have together, then she can bring me back to life. Like, wake up, we're heading in a direction, and you can't be kind of like just, you gotta keep improving yourself, keep moving forward because of the mission that we have. So I think that's one of the things that I would say marriage brought out of me. And I would say also it's maturity, okay, because you're dealing with a person that's gonna look at you and know the real you. And then sometimes the person knows you well enough to know that you're BSing sometimes. And then if you're BSing, then they're gonna remind you that you're just beating around the bush. So you're BSing, and you just need to like grow up, because the next version of you, who you want to be in the future, needs you to kind of like grow up. So I think that's one thing that marriage would do. But yeah, it starts with like communication and trust. Again, a lot of men don't have a lot of communication issues. So it's a place where if you're really open to it and vulnerable, you're gonna be able to grow. What did it take for me? It didn't take much, because I was kind of like junior. I was ready for a serious relationship, and then when we came together, we knew that's what we wanted to do. So it didn't really take much for me. It only added. So I'm gonna let her touch up on
Hi everyone. I know you guys didn't see me yet.
Hey.
But no, I just wanted to add. I think for me, anyways, marriage brought. I think just the desire to be a better person, so be able to be a better person for myself first, and then also for your partner, because when you care about someone, you want to help them also like achieve their purpose and everything. And the way to do that is really to improve yourself so that they can also improve themselves. So that's a dynamic that's very important to us. And then the way that we see life, the way that we see our place in, I would say, like spiritually, like to me anyway, spirituality is really like how you relate to yourself, how you relate to the creator, how you relate to other people, and what's your place in in that life that you've been put in like right now. So, and for us, it's really about building, and leaving something positive for the next generation, not only financially but also spiritually, a legacy of a network of people that would keep our people accountable, and also like just like a moral heritage, like what character are we going to be able to transmit. So that's all of that is the goal of our marriage. And I know not everybody sees my baby's face. I know not everybody sees the life like this, but for us it's like there's no point of us living if we're not leaving something behind that's tangible, and that's like positive, and that's going to be able to impact and affect not only our children, our grandchildren, our great grandchildren, but also all the people that are around our kids and around us. So I think when you have a mentality like that, it's really I don't know how to say it in English, like épanouissement, like you get purpose, fulfillment. You get fulfillment, and you have a goal, a vision that surpasses you and your daily, day to day. I wake up, I go to work. It's more than that, right? So, thinking about your grandchildren, your great grandchildren, I think that's more of your optic that we have, and it just like keeps you accountable, keeps you really pushing to be the best version of yourself. And I think that's what marriage at least brought to me. So I wanted to add this, and I'm gonna see if I can be more on the. Initially, we're supposed to both be on there, but You know, I have 3 kids. Like, you hear them screaming. So
we know, girl. We know. We're happy for your input today. That's definitely when you feed Louis, Louis feeds us. So we're good.
Like, yeah, I've been hearing you guys, in the last couple of months, couple months. So you guys don't know me, but I know you guys because I've been listening. But anyways, that's all I wanted to say. I'm gonna pass it back.
We're good. That's it.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Wow. That was really
You know what
fun.
I wanted to add?
Yeah.
One suggestion. I was just thinking about this, especially for people that are single, or even if they're in dating relationships, but they're not, they're still in the process of development. Prayer is a really great place to try and work out a lot of these things, because that's probably the only other relationship where you can be like completely
honest,
vulnerable, and you can actually physically, sometimes it is about actually physically saying something out loud for your body to get that into your system. So if you can get into a practice where you're doing that, that's a good practice that I would suggest to anybody. Just get into prayer, because that's another place where you don't have to be formal. You don't have to be articulate. Right. You can just literally be like, dude, my life is messed up right now. I don't know what to do. Help. Amen.
Point blank period.
And that's a good kind of like first step for people, especially if people are younger and they're learning how to communicate. That's a good practice. So I just want to add that.
That is really great.
I agree, because you're going back to the manufacturer, right? You're going back to the person who created you, and you're like, look, I feel like I need a recall. I feel like you need to take me back.
Come through with the metaphors today, Dominique.
That are missing. I feel like you're going back to the manufacturer. It makes sense. It's like, you created me. Why do I act like this? Why do I have this? Reveal this to me. Help me in this manner. I want to be better. I want to grow. I don't want to be this way. I don't want to be passive. I don't want to be aggressive. I don't, whatever it is, go back to the manufacturer. He created you. I put God up. I say, listen, you made me. Listen, what is this? And I'm like, very, very practical. I want to be disciplined. You're disciplined. You created me. Show me how to be disciplined. Teach me what I need to do. In any area that you're missing, that you're lacking, go back to the manufacturer.
That's a great point. That's a really
good. Yeah.
For the conclusion, so as we conclude, I'll just ask you guys, as you conclude, to tell me, just to answer to this question: do you believe that marriage is about two halves coming together and being whole, or two whole coming together to be great? So, in the conclusion, just insert the answer to that right there, so that we can close this conversation.
Yeah, when you put it like that, I don't know.
I'm like, you just selling it like for marketing. Woo. What do you guys think?
I agree. Exactly how you said it.
Right. I have to say that too. I think I said that earlier. You know what I mean? And this was just like I said, I heard this on the video earlier before, where two halves make a whole mess. So that was Jay Barnett, man. Jay Barnett be dropping some gems. I was just like, what? Two halves make a whole mess. So I'm like, I completely agree. I think wholeness is your portion. And if two people coming together whole, the sky's the limit.
That's great. That's great. Wilfred?
Wow. That's tough. I agree with you. For me, I mean, I would say, marriage is like, sometimes there is some people doesn't trust themselves, because sometimes it's happening. Sometimes you can't trust yourself. Sometimes you miss like a confidence of yourself. And when you know exactly, someone have your back, it's better to have someone have your back. It's better to know someone have your back, or he or she have your back for the life. That's a point, right? Because it's more important when you we all have freedom. We all have the whole life, or to live alone, or be you, be yourself, or do whatever you want. But sometimes it's good to have someone behind you. Good to have someone respect you. Good to have someone believe in you, believe in your perspective, in your future. And sometimes when you, as Louis said before, sometimes when you get like I would say in color, I would say sometimes when you feel like you are a little bit lazy, you have someone who just wake you up. They'll say, you know what, stand up, just do something. You have your future, you have your perspective. Do what you got to do, right? And sometimes it's good to have someone just remind you what you got to do in your future, what you got to do going forward. That's very good thing. This is what the benefit of the marriage is, because it can be even in relationship. I agree with that, but in on the marriage side, it's like a normal path. It's like a normal way, right? You feel like it's normal. It's normal to have someone like that. Or in relationship, you like you just it's just like you are swimming you just like it's just like you are you still on the doubt of are we gonna be together? Are we gonna be together for a long time? Are we gonna stay together for a long time? Or are you gonna just or we are just playing, right? In marriage, it's no play anymore. You are not playing anymore because everything you do is serious. Everything you do together is serious things. When you think something is serious. When you plan something, is a serious business, serious thing, serious emotional. Everything is serious, and you can speak to your partner very. I would say you are. It's like you can speak to your partner like as normal, as you are speaking with someone else, right? Not about you are speaking with your friend or your partner, but with your wife or your husband, you can speak like very normal. You can just cry or scream or yell, but you feel like a freedom people.
That being said, though, if you scream at me, we're gonna be having
problems. Problems.
I was gonna say, but yeah, that's what you mean. You can just be you. Look.
No, I would say that because sometimes sometimes there is some people many of us doesn't trust themselves, right? Because sometimes you miss you miss a little confidence of yourself. Because sometimes you don't trust yourself, you don't trust what you do. Sometimes you don't trust you can start something, but you don't trust yourself for what you are doing. You say, I'm a little bit doubt about it, but it's good to have someone have your back about it. Someone say, I'm believing you, I'm believing what you are doing, just do it.
I got it. So basically, you have somebody that believes in you even when you don't, in areas so that they can push you to be the best version of you.
To be the best version of you, yeah. To be the best version of you every time, all the time. Even if you fell down, you just say, you know what, step up. Just step up and believe in you. Tomorrow is going to be a better day. And be you, do what you got to do, and do it better. I'm trusting you. Even if you fail, you're going to wake it up tomorrow. Tomorrow's another day. And also, as I said, the sky is the limit. Just the sky can just get it out.
Awesome. Who's next for the conclusion? Nali did it. Andy did.
I think I agree with Carlita. I think 2 holes. I think you have to come whole. I think we need to normalize what being single entails, and I think being single should be the time when you work on your stuff. Being single should be not just waiting for someone to find you or to be found, but it should be an automatic thing where you're working on yourself so that you could be prepared. So we need to normalize the waiting period as time for therapy, time to deal with stuff, time to unpack, so that when we come to the altar, it's less work. Because there's going to be work, but it'll be less work if you've come having done some initial pre-work.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you. Junior, your conclusion?
Yeah. I want to actually give my opinion about like what you say, fusion of two people. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, that's part of the conclusion. So it's either
Okay. Okay.
if you tell us if you do believe in two halves coming together, coming together to be whole, or two whole coming together to be great.
Okay, for me it's both. You know why I say it's both? Because I mean, as a Christian, like a man and a woman are two spirit, but they are spirit, right? So when they comes together, there is there's like I mean, they become one in a way that, for example, with my girlfriend, I want to marry her. So like we get to the point where sometimes we just sitting down and she thinks what I think, you know, and it just blew my mind, you know. So for me, it just is like there. But the most important thing is, for me, it's also good that we now one, because love is also a part of it, you know. Because I mean, if you cannot love someone with his flaws, ask yourself if you really do love the person, you know. That's why for me, I think it's also good to now also like just be one, you know. Because as I mean, I'm gonna talk to my because I'm a Christian too. Because I mean, we're not perfect, but God loves us.
Amen.
You know? So love is also a part. I mean, loving someone with differences is also. I mean, this is love. Actually, this is actually perfection for me. I mean, this is my definition. So this is how I say things. Thank you so much, and thank you because I'm really happy. You guys can imagine why, because I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot of stuff.
We learned a lot too.
We're learning from you, right?
Yeah, we learned a lot too. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. In your young age, we learned a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're extremely wise for your age. I don't know if Adisa is here, if she want to do her conclusion.
Oh, there she is.
I am. I was just like, listening in, and I have my dog running around, so it's kind of sweet. So yeah, I mean, I think you guys absolutely, all of you guys kind of made, so many good points. Marriage, families, people coming together, but it's also important for each person to kind of, in a sense, give themselves time to learn about themselves, to know what they want, to know what they don't want, and to also be patient, with the other person. Because I believe that when you get into marriage, it's a whole journey. It's a whole journey. It's a lot, and it could be overwhelming. It could be, joyous. It could be, sad at some points. So it's definitely getting to that mindset and allowing yourself to kind of mature and kind of grow as a person, so that you will be, in a sense, the best that you can be. Again, nobody's perfect. You're not meant to go into like a marriage, feeling like, okay, I'm perfect, I'm this and that. Like, that's not gonna happen. But at one point in time, it's also great when two people are able to recognize, what they do wrong, what they do right, and how they can help each other. And I think that could, obviously help propel the relationship as well as the marriage forward.
Wow.
That's good.
That's so good.
That's good.
Wow. That was a great thing taking out. Thank you so much for making these choices. Again, I say thank you, because this wouldn't be the same without you guys.
It would not.
Thank you for your commitment. Thank you for, this conversation. I think it's fun, it's light, but there is a lot of wisdom that comes out of it, not only from us, but like from each of us. We learn so much. And from you guys who are in the chats and in the comments, we do appreciate you. If you are watching this video, make sure you leave us a comment to let us know what you thought about it. I think what I will say coming out of all this conversation is like, marriage is not a game, okay? This is not a place where you come to play games. It is something that is serious. Like Wilfred said, it's a commitment to actually grow with somebody, to be a purpose partner to somebody, for the better and the worse, like they said, like in sickness and in everything. So if you don't feel ready, if you don't feel like you are willing to do the work, I would say don't commit. Don't waste people's time. But if you are willing to do the work, go for it. And like you've heard it, like everybody talked about it, all these married folks, they've been married for, some people 2 years, some people longer than that. So I think it is a great adventure, but you have to be willing to do the work. That'll be my conclusion for today's conversation. Marriage is not a game, and it's not for the children. It's not for the immature. Okay?
A to the men. A to the men.
A to the men. Community, guys.
Thank you guys, everybody, for just the vibrancy and the keeping the flow going. Have a great weekend.
Yes, enjoy the weekend.
This is another great conversation.
No,
Right.
love it.
Bye, everybody.
Talk soon.
Bye.
Have a great weekend. Thank you, everybody.
Bye, Junior. I think he dropped off, but he's in the comments.
Thank you, Junior. It was great having you again today.
Yes, definitely.
Thank you, guys.
See you guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Peace.